What up, y'all? Chris, here to give some brief afterthoughts on today's heavyweight championship bout between Wladimir Klitschko and Sam Peter. Rematch. I would have done the video earlier, but like I said last week on the radio show, after watching the Felix Sturm fight, sometimes when I watch these foreign fights, like the Klitschko brothers fights or the Sturm fight last weekend, after sitting in the house for an hour, I kind of want to get outside, anyone that lives, I live in California, but anyone that lives in like a warm weather state, this time of the year, warm weather place, this time of the year is really nice. So after watching the fight, I wasn't compelled enough to want to do a video right away. I kind of want to get outside and enjoy some of that beautiful weather. But that said, the fight itself pretty much went as I expected. Vlad dominated. I'll give Sam Peter this. He did come in shape, and I'd say the first round, initially, it looked like he came to win, unlike his fight against Wladimir Klitschko. However, Wladimir definitely had more confidence than he had in their first fight, and threw a couple big rights in the first fight. Then the first round to kind of let Sam Peter know, yo, I'm here. This ain't nothing going to be like nothing like the first fight. You're not going to just rush me, and I'm not going to fight scared. That's something I said in my predictions for this fight, is that I thought Klitschko, at the time that they first originally fought, was fighting a bit more timid, a bit more cautious, but he's obviously gained a lot more confidence over all of his fights up till this, since then. And it showed. Fought at times more aggressively and let his hands go more, especially that big right that we all know he has, and his left hook, which is another good punch of his. But, of course, there was the things that bothered me about watching Vladimir's fight as well. His tying up and his leaning on the fighters. He did that throughout the bout. Not as much as he has usually, but he still did it more than I would like, personally. As I said in the prediction for this fight, if the referee's going to let him get away with it, he's going to do it. And unfortunately, the referee, I believe it was Robert Byrd, did never admonish him for it. Actually, he admonished Samuel Peter for hitting low or hitting when they were clinched, when they should have been breaking up, But that said, as the bout progressed, as Teddy Atlas pointed out, Samuel Peter looked to not only initiate clinches, but not do work in the clinch. You could kind of tell. Teddy Atlas pointed it out. He's one of the better commentators as far as giving you a perspective of a fighter that's losing a bout and is progressively losing their confidence throughout. Teddy Atlas is great at pointing that out and kind of give you a narrative. And you can see it in the guy's body language. That's something he pointed out as well. Sam Peter, after the first couple rounds, looked a lot less confident. Seemed to be joining in those, as Teddy Atlas calls them, silent agreements, where they're holding on the inside and neither guy's really doing anything. Sam wasn't really doing as much work inside during the clinch at times, even when the referee said your hands are free to both fighters. Just a dejected fighter, a fighter that had lost his confidence after a few rounds, taking the kind of shots that Wladimir was lacing him up with. So, like I said, I thought Wladimir let his hands go a lot more than he has in recent fights. So give props to that. Give props to Sam Peter for being able to take some of the punishment he was taking throughout. I was worried with the confidence that Peter seemed to be losing that he might quit in the corner like he did against Vitaly, but credit to him, he did not do that. Come the 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th round, ultimately 10th round, Wladimir was taking over. Samuel Peter was winging big shots, but desperation shots. Was even throwing a few dirty tactics, hitting low, hitting kind of behind the head. And as Teddy Atlas pointed out, that's almost like looking for a way out the fight without asking for a way out the fight. If you watch boxing enough, you kind of see this, where guys will get dirty, where they don't want to quit, but you can see they're looking for a way out the fight because they know they can't win. Whether or not I think Klitschko or Peter's corner should stop the fight sooner, I don't know. They gave him plenty of chances to go out there, and he did. He was taking a beating, but he wasn't getting pummeled. I mean, it wasn't so bad that it was I don't think it's going to be a career ender or a career changer. But Wladimir, 10th round, you could see that Samuel Peter was pretty much out of it, both mentally and physically. Started really letting his hands go. Caught Peter. Peter was off balance, and Vlad pretty much let his hands go and finished him off. So a good finish to the fight. It's good to see Wladimir go after the finish, especially when he's seen his prey was kind of just sitting there. He didn't have to have Manny Stewart get on him and say, finish this man off like he did in his last fight. Wladimir recognized that his opponent was a beaten man, had nothing left to offer, and wasn't a threat, and that he could go in there and finish him off, and he did. The ref waved it off after Wladimir kind of got a knockdown on it. Kind of a sloppy set of punches, but effective punches nonetheless. The one thing I didn't like about the fight, And, I know Klitschko has a lot of fans that don't want to disrespect him. I realize that the Wladimir and Vitaly Klitschko are the best fighters out there in the heavyweight division, and they dominate their opponents and make it look easy. But the only thing I don't like about watching the Klitschko brothers fights is after a couple of rounds, you realize there's no chance for the opponents to win. As a fan, I like to see competitive fights. I'm more compelled when the challenger or the opponent, either fighter, has a chance to win. And it's pretty obvious after a couple of rounds watching Klitschko brothers fights, that's not the case. So you don't really have that. But I will say this, and I was going to say at the beginning, I forgot. Awesome intro to this fight. I said it last week on the radio show, Science Behind the Radio. I love the atmosphere and the events that they make these fights over there in Europe. It's not just in a fight. It feels like an event that you're attending. And Klitschko's pre-fight little thing with Muhammad Ali and the pictures and I don't know what you call it. I don't want to say Photoshop, but he was in the actual photos or the footage with Ali. Very reminiscent of Forrest Gump, the movie Forrest Gump, but that was absolutely spectacular. Really got me anticipated for the fight. Probably the best intro I've ever seen for a fight by far. Just unbelievable stuff, really good stuff. Had me much more anxious to watch the fight than I was beforehand. But unfortunately, the fight wasn't that competitive. I didn't expect it to be, so, Wladimir rolls on. Also, props to Wladimir for bagging that girl Hayden Panettiere or whatever her name is from Heroes. That's a good look. Anyways, what's next? Who knows? Sam Peter, he goes back to the bottom of the line. I don't know if he'll ever get a chance to challenge for a heavyweight championship title again. Put him against Chris Arreola. People want to see that fight. I want to see that fight. As for Vlad, sounds like he's got his pick of the litter out there, kind of. Sounds like Teddy Atlas doesn't want to get Povetkin in there with him anytime soon. Can't blame him. I don't know what's going on with David Haye. I think it's going to be Audley Harrison. Hopefully we can get the Vladimir Klitschko fight after that fight. That's what I want. That's what the fans want. That's what Vlad wants. David Haye said in the past is what he wants. Let's make that happen. Other than that, not really anyone on the horizon I want to see Vlad fight. Maybe Valua if he comes back from injury, but it's not like I think that would be a competitive fight. I just want to see it for the overall size factor. I think it'll be a big event in Europe. But that said, Vladimir Klitschko rolls on. Same old same. Impressive performance. Impressive win. I'll be talking about it more tomorrow. Science Behind the Radio Show. 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 Eastern, 5 Central. If you guys want to call in and talk about this fight or any other fights going on tonight or later on or last night, the number is 347-637-3025. Or you can email the show at scienceabinds@gmail.com. My co-host this week is going to be Cal-X Boxing. He's got a YouTube channel on here. I'll probably link his channel up in the information part, along with the link for the radio show tomorrow and the link to my Twitter as usual. So be sure and check that out, guys, tomorrow. And we've talked about all these fights. And until then, guys, I'm out. At least I think I am.